prepare for it every year. This was on last Monday, and as we were going over encroachment during a free kick, encroachment also occurs when a player violates the free kick restrictions that is in 614. Interestingly, I went back and looked at that very carefully. If you go and look at it, the change is not in 614. The change is in the penalties for Rule 6, Section 4. Does everybody understand that? Okay, and that's where it's changed from being an encroachment to being a free kick. How's it worded?
Infraction.
Infraction. And see, that becomes real important for us on the exam. It becomes more important for us when we're at a ball game, you know, and how we're enforcing the rules. Okay? My point here is, don't just look at the rules, look at the penalties that are in there also, because they'll put changes in there for us to learn. Okay? The second one I'm going to make a point of, also for things to look forward to as you're moving through. Everybody look at Rule 2.5, Rule 2, Section 5. Rule 2, Section 5. And you'll notice that Rule 2, Section 5 talks about clipping and blocking in the back. There's Article 1 and Article 2. Okay? If you go back to the 2016 book, there's an Article 3. Article 3 said, such cases shall not be ruled clipping and or blocking in the back unless the game official sees the initial contact. When in doubt, the contact is legal and not from behind. When the contact is ruled to be from behind and the game official has a question as to the initial point of contact, it shall not be ruled clipping. Those of you who've been around for a long time know that article, but it was edited out of the rule book. It wasn't taken out by the Rules Committee, it was edited out. My point on that, now we're fortunate with this year's rule book, but if you go to the first page, open your front cover, open your next page, you'll find there every year the rule changes, the editorial changes, and the points of emphasis. I strongly encourage you every year to go back through those editorial changes, because you're liable to get caught making a serious error. Forget the exam. You're talking about 1 or 2 points on the exam. You're liable to make a serious error on the field if you don't keep up with those editorial changes. Okay?
Good point.
All right. The next thing, those of you who weren't here Thursday, there was a point where I lost absolute control of the meeting, primarily because I was getting tired and lost my focus. And when we're talking about force, so today I'm going to get it correct. And what happened, for those of you who weren't here last Thursday, I got off on momentum, which I shouldn't have done. I should have stayed on force. So this is the rules as they apply to force. They're in 213, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can read through those. I'm going to give you a summary of them to make sure that I get it right. Okay? Force only applies from the field of play into the end zone. Where's the field of play? Boundary line, in rule book, it's boundary line to boundary line, goal line to goal line. Okay? So it's only from the field of play into the end zone. Right? Second big thing. Force is the result of a carry, fumble, kick, pass, or snap. That's how force occurs. Okay? So if I got it in my armpit and I'm running the ball, I can carry it. That's what that's referring to. The others are quite obvious. All right? Kicks going into the R's end zone are always a touchback. The important thing here is that you know when a kick ends. Okay? That's very important for you to be always aware of. Muffing or batting of a pass, kick, or fumble in flight is not a new force. So So if I throw a pass, a forward pass or a backwards pass, and it is batted, it's still considered to be that pass. If it is a punt or a scrimmage kick, and it is batted while it's in the air, it is in flight, it's still considered to be part of that kick. Everybody good there? Okay. After the ball is grounded, a new force may result from a bat, an illegal kick, or a muff. This is the one to be very careful about, the muff. But the ball's got to be grounded. Everybody good? Okay, so how does that play out? All right. Responsibility for forcing the ball across the goal line is attributed to the player who carries snaps. Okay? Repeating that just to make sure you know it. Okay? A kick by K going into R's end zone is a touchback. If it's muffed, if it's batted, okay, as long as it has not been grounded, it's still a kick, and it's a touchback. Good?
Even if it has been grounded. Even if it has been grounded. Even if
It has not been grounded.
Even if it has been grounded.
If it's still a kick.
It's still a kick.
Okay? Still a kick. Everybody good? Thank you. All right. A kick by K going into K's end zone. It's either going to be a safety or it's going to be a touchdown. One or the other. So what that is K's kicked the ball. Somehow weird, he kicked it over his head. I was in college, I was playing a college game. We had a punter that actually had a punt for -2 yards. Boom. Ball went straight up in the air, came down and fielded it himself. First touching right there. Lost 2 yards. He was a 35-yard average kicker, and he did that in the punt. Fortunately, we were aware of that.
Typically a block.
Okay, but it's either a safety. So if he kicks the ball and it remains a kick and it goes into the end zone, it's going to either be a safety or it's going to be a touchdown. What determines that? Who's got possession of it at the end of the day? Right? Now, realize K has team possession of it, even if you don't have player possession of it. So if it is blocked or batted or whatever and rolls out of the end zone with no one in possession of it, it's still K's possession. Safety. Everybody good? If A forces the ball into B's end zone, the result's either going to be a touchdown or a touchback. Should have a parentheses right there. Or a touchback. Okay? So, A forces it in B's end zone. A's in position, end of the down. We've got a touchdown. If B is in possession at the end of the down, no player's in the possession at the end of the down, or ball goes out of bounds behind the goal line, it's going to be a touchback. That's the one that people get upset about, where the offense is running and boy trips and stumbles and fumbles and it rolls the way through the end zone. It's a touchback. Right? Everybody good? Mm-hmm. If A forces the ball into A's end zone, the result's going to either be a touchdown or it's going to be a safety. It's a touchdown if B is in possession. It's a safety if A is in possession, no one's in possession, or it goes out behind the line. Everybody good with that? Okay. This is where the momentum exception kicks in. Okay? That's where I kind of got off track, but I want to just mention that. That's out of 852. And what that situation is that the defense gets possession of the ball inside his own 5-yard line. His momentum carries him into the end zone. he doesn't get it back out because he slipped or was tackled or whatever, we're going to give possession back at where he gained possession. Okay, everybody good? The mechanic in that is that the moment that defensive player gains possession, we drop a beanbag if he's inside the 5. Okay? Where the ball lost possession, we should probably drop a beanbag there also. But does that sound good? Am I right there?
Good.
Okay. Last. If B forces the ball into A's end zone, it's going to either be a touchdown or a touchback. If B is in possession at the end of the down, he forces it into A's end zone, it's his ball. Touchdown. Okay? That goes back to that basic. You know, if you possess the ball in your opponent's end zone, it's a touchdown. All right? But if A gets possession of it, it's forced back there by B, it's going to, and A has possession in the down, it's a touchback. No player has possession at the end of the down, it's a touchback. Ball goes out of bounds, it's a touchback. Everybody good there?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So this is kind of what Larry and I were talking about. If B fumbles it into A's end zone and no, so if B has team possession at the end of the down, say it's one dead after no player tries to secure possession. So that would be B in team possession in A's end zone at the end of the down, and that would be a touchdown.
Right. Now, if you go and look at the rule, this is one of those places they start substituting offense and defense for A and B. Okay? And it's a logical reason to substitute that terminology. All right? Did I correct myself clearly? Did I incorrectly correct myself? Anyone?
You're good.
Okay, I'm okay?
Yeah, before you go to the next section, may I?
Yes, you may.
I remember what number 4 was. Whoa. Turn off all your cell phones.
This just went off.
All right, got a little bit of video here for you. I think I've got it where it's playing the sound. The way this video works is they'll show you the play, then they'll go back and they'll do some stop action and some slow motion, and they'll have some commentary with it, and then they'll play it a third time with some more commentary. And some of them they'll give you more than one view of the play. Okay? I think most of them kind of answer themselves. The first one that I'm going to show you deals with a forward pass and roughing the passer, and I like this piece of video primarily because it gives us a different idea of roughing the passer. You need to be real quiet. I'm not sure how well this speaker is going to work. It'll play without sound first. Okay, any thoughts on what you got on that play? That's about how quick you see a play, isn't it? Any thoughts on what you got on that play?
Forward pass.
Got a forward pass. Okay. All right, let's see how they.
The parlance of the game works in concert with the definition to create a thorough understanding of the rules. In some places, this is called a shovel pass, while others may call it a shuffle pass. What it should not be called is a forward lateral. What's important is to know that it doesn't matter what style of delivery the passer uses to throw the ball. What matters is the direction the ball traveled.
One more
This
time.
is a legal forward pass. Even
your
though the
eyes
passer didn't use a conventional overhand motion. Another point for discussion is the hit on the passer. It is crucial for the referee to observe action against and by the snapper. Shifting focus to the ball rather than the quarterback could result in missing a foul involving the passer.
I think his comments were really good there. And one of the things that I, as a wing official, have to remember is that my referee's not going to help me with that forward pass once it's left that passer's hand. My referee's going to be focused on that passer. Even on that play that's designed like a running play, that's where his focus is. So I got to pay really close attention to where that ball goes.
And let's talk about from a mechanic standpoint a little bit, okay, as a wing official, you've got about 14 other things you're looking at. You know, I challenge that the average wing official is not gonna see that forward pass, and the referee's gotta see it, but at the same time, you're right, you gotta stay on the action with the quarterback. So that ball hits the ground as an incomplete pass, who's gonna know it, and who better know it, is the question. The umpire's not gonna
No.
get it.
Umpire's not gonna see it through all the traffic between him and the ball. I think
Good point.
the offside wing official is the one that's gotta go.
Not gonna see it.
You don't think so? Okay.
Referee's gotta get both of those.
So the referee, so what Mr. Saunders is saying is that,
Assistant coach has gotten that call for us.
that's right.
Absolutely.
What Mr. Saunders is saying is that you gotta see that, you gotta see through the passer to where the ball goes on those inside screens and those kind of plays.
Because what we see now is even closer, where the quarterback gets the ball, he possesses it, and just does something real simple like that. And if it hits, they do it, it's a forward pass. If it's ground, it's gonna be incomplete. But you gotta see it. And as a wing official, you got, you know, a wide receiver coming your way, your guy's taking you down, you got all kind of things. You're not gonna see it. So the referees have gotta see that. But you also have to see this illegal contact on the passer at the same time. So it's very important. That's why we're gonna focus on mechanics here in a few weeks.
Okay, Mr. Kirk? Go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say I disagree with the roughing passing, but Larry said it, so I guess.
Well, that's a good point, Jared. I mean, that's a very questionable one. It's close at best with that. I would call it roughing because it was just unnecessary. He didn't have to do it, and he did. You know,
I would call it a blow to the head.
As he's
If
coming,
it's not roughing the passer, it's a blow to the head.
as he's
Hold on,
coming,
guys, hold on.
as he's coming at him, you know, he thinks he's a ball carrier. He doesn't know he's going to pitch it. But once he saw him pitch it, he had an opportunity to lay off the passer. I'm going to protect the passer all day long.
Any other thoughts on that play? All right, this one deals with the rule in which the A may only have one forward pass on a play. Okay, let's hear them. Let's hear it.
Is allowed only one forward pass per down. The first pass on this play is quickly backward. Note the official at the top of the screen using the punch signal to confirm the direction of the first pass. The second pass is obviously forward. There is no limit on how many backward passes a team may throw during a down, but when it comes to forward passes, it's one to a customer.
Can you freeze that real quick?
We'll see when the ball's in the air.
No, I want to talk about the mechanics of the wing official.
Anymore.
Where you want me to, tell me when to stop it.
Right now.
Okay, everybody quiet, please. Here.
All right, just from some of the veteran wing officials, I just like to kind of hear, are you stationary on the line of scrimmage like this, Jonathan?
What I was gonna add is, before you get into that, just mechanics wise, is we talk about this a lot pregame. The opposite wing official has the best view on whether that is forward or backwards. Believe it or not, even though it's coming right at that one wing official, the opposite wing has that best view on whether that's forward or backwards.
And that's probably a valid point. Can I ask my question now? The question was, veteran wing officials, are you guys staying or are you drifting already when this ball? I think we drift.
Mechanics wise, we're supposed to be drifting.
Yeah, which creates a problem.
Right.
You got 7.
If you got 7 man, difference.
Yep.
Class, one at a time. Mr. Edwards, go ahead with your thought.
I was, if you got 7 man, you're gonna be there, but if you got a 5 man, I think you're gonna be going down.
So
That doesn't mean that you can't look back and get it.
man, you're not right there. You're not.
Well, yeah, you can.
Why would you drift? The initial pass.
What if he run? then you come back.
Yeah,
You can't get a good start like that.
If you athletic enough, you can.
that's a bad mechanic.
Initially, I'm not drifting initially.
Let me, AC,
I'm staying the set. The other thing that, when you first ran it, I said the wind official, you were testing the point back. I think that's a good mechanic. I don't understand why we don't use it.
that was one of the things I was gonna mention for those that couldn't hear Mr. Lewis. We don't, this official here, it's a little blurry, I know, but he's given a fist punch. That's a college mechanic, and many high school associations are using it. It's not in our association at this point. I would suspect that part of that, the reason we don't have it, and I don't know this, but this would be my guess, is the reason we don't have it is exactly what Mr. Edwards and Mr. Saunders are pointing at, that we don't have an official on that sideline and this sideline D, and most of us have to drift out of there on those kind of plays. And it creates a lot of kind of problems for us. I know that Mr. Moffrey used that punch signal in a game that we had, it was a JV game, but it saved us some issues because he obviously saw it. But like he said, the pass was coming toward me. Yes, sir.
So Jonathan, what if you drift on your side down the field, at the same time he drifts down the side?
Yeah, I'd say it's perfect.
I know.
That's why we don't use the punch signal in high school is because
Well, this
if he
is,
punches backwards, the other guy blows it dead. and now you
That's
got-
exactly why we don't have it.
this is in Wisconsin.
Okay,
I know-
let him finish.
This is in Wisconsin, I know the director up there, and that probably is their mechanic. But, you know, he saw it, he made the call, and, you know, maybe that's how they train.
Mr. Davis.
Yeah, our mechanics, we did have that punch. I don't remember how many years ago, but we did have a punch back at one point, but I don't think it lasted but a year. It didn't last but 1 year. And because of the difficulties we're talking about.
Coach got thrown out of the game because he questioned why it's clear that he pointed backwards and the official on the other side came in and called it incomplete. And it was a true step, they disagreed on it. And so that's given the coach one extra thing. The coach got tossed because he was right.
Let me express, and I'm asking more than telling. I think if that ball is close to being a backwards pass, it's a backwards pass. If it's a question in my mind, it's a backwards pass.
In that situation, yeah, but now that ball, now that ball is muffed by the receiver and it's on the ground, the defense picks it up and runs the touchdown back and wins the game. When in doubt, it's incomplete, it's
Okay.
not, so that's just a philosophical.
And I would agree with you, so we gotta see the whole play before we actually make a call.
And I didn't bring it up to talk about the punch or no punch, I'm a fan of the punch, we don't do it, no big deal. My point is, I don't think we need to drift on this play. I think if you drift, you're in no man's land. And that quarterback comes back to you, now you gotta play catch up and get back. I think if you stay put, read the play a little bit more before you drift. We drift too soon.
Okay. All right. And you and I talked about that before, the one where I had the two wide receivers on the line. You had the same kind of feeling on that
You
play.
can play catch up a lot easier than you can play lead.
Okay, that's reasonable.
On
Yes,
that
Mr.
pass,
Bryant.
pass is complete, you're not gonna point it and kill it anyway.
Right,
You might drop the flag, you're not gonna kill it.
right. And then somebody can wave the flag off if you're wrong. That's a good point. One of the things I always remembered is that if you're in question, drop a beanbag, drop a flag, and your crew will come back together and we'll get it right. Everybody good?
This is excellent discussion.
Any other thoughts on this play?
Great discussion.
Okay, the next two plays I've got here, I want to show you both of them, and I think they're really good plays because both of them deal with the disintegration of the free blocking zone. Come on, work for me. Okay, so these two plays, I like these two plays a lot because both of them deal with the disintegration of the free blocking zone. One of them, the snapper, is the A player is going to take a direct hand-to-hand snap, and the other one, the quarterback, the A player is going to take a long snap, a traditional shotgun type snap. So let's watch both of them and then kind of talk about how they're different. And I'll just play them all the way through. And then if y'all feel like we need to go back and look at either one of them, any portion, we will. Watch right here. Okay.
Two actions on this play by the left tackle in white merit scrutiny and discussion.
Quiet, folks.
Let's start with the initial block. It is illegal to block below the waist once the ball has left the free blocking zone. The quarterback has carried the ball out of the zone and is handing it off when number 62 blocks low on number 63 in blue. The hesitation makes it virtually impossible for number 62 to throw a legal low block. As the play continues, number 62 encircles his opponent's leg. It is accepted philosophy to pass on calling holding if the hold occurs away from the point of attack. We don't know if number 63 could have gotten close to the runner if he had not been hooked. At the very least, an official should let number 62 know that the hook was observed. That is good preventive officiating.
This guy takes a false step. He takes a backward step before he makes the block. See there? Did everybody see that? Do I need to show it again? Yeah. Watch 62, and he takes a false step. See him take this false step, this little hop step. Sir? Okay.
It's the delay.
Now let's watch this play as we're going into it. Watch this side of the snapper.
Blocking below the waist rules were officiated precisely as written. It would be virtually impossible for Team A to block below the waist from a shotgun formation. That's because the ball is on its way to the quarterback and out of the free blocking zone almost immediately. However, by interpretation, it is illegal for Team A to throw low blocks while in the shotgun if there is no significant hesitation. Again, one could make an argument that the right guard and right tackle don't block immediately. However, due to the way the rule is interpreted, the low blocks on this play are legal.
Mr. Moffrey, what were you thinking? Go ahead, please.
What I was saying is the other one, he was under center. He wasn't in shotgun. So the fact that the lineman delayed really doesn't matter. And on that first play, you're kind of picking the factor on whether that was actually a block below the waist or not. Because he was under center, and he's going back to do a handoff. On the second one you showed, that was in shotgun. So that, in shotgun, the delay does matter. But on the first one, when the quarterback's under center, the fact that a lineman delays has no impact on whether it's a block below the waist or not. It's where the ball is.
Okay? Yes, Sam?
I tend to, on the first one, I tend to agree with Jonathan. I would have ruled, if it were me, I would have ruled the other way. I would have ruled that a legal block. And the reason being is, again, the delay is insignificant. But in my opinion, when he started to initiate his block, the ball was still in the zone. From what I was seeing. In the second clip, I would disagree with the commentator there, because I don't think those blocks were immediate. It seemed like that was more of a delay, and if the ball is out of the zone on the snap, I don't see the. Yeah, I would have ruled.
Which one?
On the
First
second-
one?
on the
Okay,
second-
here's the first one, folks.
I would have ruled different from the commentator on both of those.
Okay, here we go.
Freeze it right at the snap.
Can I talk? can I talk, Jay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Although it's a delay, and if it goes on, watch where the football is whenever he starts to initiate his block. He doesn't make contact, but the ball, in my opinion, is still in the zone when he starts to initiate his block.
It's in the zone. It's in the zone.
He's coming up.
Is it still in the zone?
Now see, he's going low, and the ball is still in the zone, in my opinion. The ball is still in the zone right there. Now he's initiated his block. So I think that's a good block.
Okay. Time out. Time out, Mr. Garrett, so that everybody can hear, please. Go ahead.
Well, I was just correct. I thought he had to be on the initial charge, that he has to go down and cut him down immediately. And I was correct, evidently you don't have to do that. But in that case there, he comes up and then he goes down.
Yes, sir.
You know, again, this is what happens when we show video. It's awesome. Video is the best training tool we're going to get a lot of. But, you know, we can debate this and all. This is kind of a tweener. You know, you're probably better off not calling this block blowaways, in my opinion. But I would want to focus more so on the discussion of the mechanic. If it is a block blowaways, who's going to see it?
This wing guy over here.
Got to be. Obviously, the other one, umpire's not going to see it. It's got to be that wing guy. Just got 14 other things coming at him, including drifting downfield if we follow our
And let me also make a very important point, playing off of what was just said. If they've got a wing back here, those guys take some dirty, cheap shots away from the point of attack.
Right.
It's really important for us wing officials to watch those guys, because you know those teams that run the wing team, they're using a back to try and feel for a pulling lineman, and we've seen players get hurt. Mr. Caden.
If you're reading your keys correctly, you can catch that. I mean, if you're watching the tackle fire off or going to basketball, I mean, you're watching that snap anyway, so I mean, it should be a no-brainer.
Mr. Davis.
Got a right-handed quarterback, and one of the keys for the referee is that offside tackle. So he may see that block if he's reading his keys. But if the umpire is doing his job correctly, he should be watching the point of attack. And when he see those guys go to the right side,
The umpire's eyes are over here.
That's what he should be. That's what it should be.
The alleged fouls on the other side. The umpire's not going to see that.
But
Right,
the initial
right.
read is with God.
Yeah. And the umpire probably won't see it if he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Mr. Butner, go ahead where everybody can hear you, sir.
His initial read is the guards. The guards gonna tell you where the play going
Right.
99.99 times. So he's probably gonna get that. Initially in the ball game, you know who's gonna take cheap shots, you know who's gonna do something wrong. You can tell when they're confusing and something bad gonna happen. Just let it come to you. He'll see that. He'll catch it. Umpire catch that. If not that, he gonna get the hold. Or the backside wing gonna get the hold.
Right.
But it's so obvious.
Ford, yes. Quiet, please. One at a time. Yes.
I think one of the keys to the announcer made is, regardless, we can nitpick if the ball's in the zone or not. From an umpire standpoint, 7 yards deep, you're not gonna know exactly if that ball is 3 yards deep or not, in or out of the zone. However, that second action, that hold, if you at least go tell that player, hey, I saw it.
Yeah.
Then he knows, you may look at him that next play or not, but he's gonna at least clean up his act for 1 or 2 plays. And it may stop something further. As far as this play is concerned, I would not call it. It's on the backside. It doesn't matter when he initially starts that charge, if the ball's in the zone, he can go for it. However, in that particular case, when he grabs that leg, now we don't have a song. But the ball's away from the play, we're not going to call it. But I'm going to go tell him, look, you can't grab him, so you have to watch it. And he probably going to clean it back.
Mr. Julian, you have a thought we would like to hear.
I ain't gonna tell him some crap. I'm gonna flag his rear end. That'll tell him, I got you.
Okay?
You gotta see one of those two.
Yeah.
We're making this much more difficult than it really is. You gotta see one of those. Otherwise, too.
Mr. Davis?
Yeah, Jay, I just want to applaud you, but I think these films are great. I think the discussion is good, and hopefully this will gonna help us, at least in District 5, with some consistency with our calls. So I hope we can do more of this. This is great.
Let me just say Garrett Messer purchased and loaned the association this video, so he deserves the credit for this being included. And there's a lot of other video in here, but I tied y'all up for 3 hours already, and I figured I owe you a little bit of time.
Do some more
And
of
at
that.
that point, that's about where I'm done. And if there's anything else I can offer,
Do some more.
you wanna see some more?
Yeah, that's good stuff, that.
Okay, if that was where I plan on stopping, if you need to go, feel free.
Jay, did everybody agree on that second one, that those were low block, illegal blocks, other than the commentators?
No, the comment on the second video that I showed there,
How low can they go? 13.
see, this one, I,
14.
no, it was 13.
Oh,
No, you're right, it was 14.
14.
It was 14. I think Mr. Moffrey made it very clear in the way he said it, is that we've got to look at it differently when you have the snap under center and the snap in the shotgun. I think it really changes how much leeway we've got to give these guys. Am I saying that correctly, Mr. Moffrey?
Just saying that my interpretation that is not blocking glory.
Yes, that's what we are saying.
Precisely as written. It would be virtually impossible for TFA to block the low blocks. That's because balls and unfortunately so all too easy. However, by interpreting.
No, sir.
Excuse me?
I just wanted to hear the last part of what he had to say.
It is illegal for Team A to throw low blocks while in the shotgun if there is no significant hesitation.
Did he say legal?
Illegal.
You say illegal, okay.
It could make an argument that the right guard and right tackle don't block immediately. However, due to the way the rule is interpreted, the low blocks on this play are legal.
Okay. All right, let me just say, I've watched this thing a dozen times. What the commentator says is that this is legal because their initial charge
At the snap.
at the snap is in this angle. If they had made a hesitation, it would be illegal. And as long as I've been working this game, that's what I've been taught to call it. And I saw the other play that same way. It was an initial charge. Okay? Any thoughts?
Oh,
Move on.
Yes.
I'm saying the definition says he has to make contact also, even if he goes to his knees at the very initial snap or just wallers on the ground and lets the guy run over him, a attempt to block both ways is not a foul. So whether he does or he is not there, initial charge.
I'm not sure what you're asking or saying.
I'm saying that if they say he does it at the, yeah, so even if there is a significant delay, even the quarterback drops back 3 more yards and that particular lineman there drops to his knees or tries to go low, there's no foul.
No.
No, that's a foul.
No.
That's a foul.
It's got to be on the initial charge.
He's saying there's no contact, no foul.
You could try to block somebody low.
Oh, you're saying if there's no contact?
Right.
Right. It's not a foul if there's no contact. Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Didn't get blocked.
You know, you can try to clip all day long, and if you miss them every time, we'll just laugh at it. But yes, you're great. Your contact's got to be made.
Say something to that kid.
Okay?
If you have made contact with him, you go to the.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Okay, let me see. There was a couple others.
I got one more question with that.
Yes,
So, in Rule 2, Section 17, Article 2, it says, all players involved in the blocking zone are on the line of scrimmage at the snap, and the contact is in the zone.
and the ball is in the zone.
Doesn't say anything about.
It does.
Yes.
Because what it says, Mr. Curry, is that when the ball leaves the zone disintegrates.
Oh, yeah, I get that one.
Well, so we have to always know that you have to have the ball in the zone, you have to have the blocker in the zone, and you have to have the blocked player in the zone. Okay? And that's where our question is coming on both of these, is when the ball left the zone, does he no longer have the opportunity to block below the waist? And in a shotgun formation, it's almost impossible for him to make contact prior to the ball leaving the zone. So what we've always been taught is, if his initial charge is in that fashion, it wasn't any kind of false step, wasn't a hesitation, then we're going to let him go through with it. Yes, sir, Mr. Butler.
It's assumed that the initial charge is below the waist in a shotgun. It's assumed that the ball is in the zone. It's assumed that the ball is in the zone.
Okay? Yes. Everybody good? Okay, Mr. Hewlin went to sleep, so either we're good or we're going to have 5 questions on that.
Do another.
One more.
12 more.
This one
You
good?
will. You did it. Let's wait till Rule 3 you leave.
Jim, are the linemen downfield?
Okay, listen to the commentator.
The end zone. On this play, the receiver gains control of the forward pass and contacts the pylon. He completes the catch by surviving the fall to the ground. Touching the pylon caused the ball to become dead. As a result, the play is ruled a touchdown.
What was he asking the back judge for help?
What if his knee hits the pylon before his foot touches down in bounds?
The pylon is beyond the goal line and out of bounds.
That's what I thought they were trying to show there, was his knee hitting the pylon first.
Thoughts, questions?
Good job.
One more, Judge.
Who forced it into the end zone?
Hey.
A. For A. There's no K.
Thinking about how they will react if the ball winds up in their team's end zone. The play will be dictated by the force that puts the ball in the end zone and what happens to the ball once it is there.
Alright, so talk about the wing officials.
Good job, baby. You listened.
Okay,
Good job.
the question comes up, what do our wing officials do? Okay, I'm a line judge, and so on the snap, I begin working downfield, looking back to see what's going on. The moment I see that this ball has been muffed by the back, I'm sprinting back this way. Mr. Cable, what are you doing? Mr. Cable's a linesman, by the way.
On the line of scrimmage there, make sure all across.
That ain't all he watching for. He helping the umpire check for illegal, ineligible downfield.
Yes, because realize this is one of those kind of plays where we're very likely to have eligible numbers in ineligible positions. You got to identify them. Good point, Mr. Bugner. Yes, sir.
A question for the referees. On a play like this, when the referee has responsibility for the end line, should the referee initially start all the way back at the end line When you had that responsibility?
It depends on where we're snapping from.
You also got the goal line too.
If you're snapping inside.
Inside the 5, yeah.
If you're snapping inside the 5, you probably wanna be on the end line.
Mhm.
If you're outside of that, you know, being in the middle of the end zone is no man's land, doesn't do you any good. So, I mean, I would wanna be on either the goal line or the end line, but you got both. Is
Okay.
what you have in this situation. I wanted to focus on this particular wing official's mechanics. So what does he do when play it real quick,
Okay, well,
without the volume? He kinda like,
Can't see the change.
I don't know why,
Where's that ball snapped from?
Like a 10 or 15?
it's the 15, 14, 15.
Okay, all right, okay.
Hold on, guys, hold on.
The one thing that we're sure of is this guy's not helping anybody. He's not helping the referee, the umpire, or the back judge. I bet you he knows what to eat in the locker room back there.
Jay, rule number 1 of teaching is never tell them 45 minutes, because we could stay another 45 minutes.
Okay, here's
right.
one more. This is the last one. This is a good one. This is the last one because I told y'all I'd be done. 45.
That was a mistake right there.
Should've told her.
It's only the second quarter?
I'm sorry, what was the topic?
This is another example of getting to the alerts during a dead ball period. Once again, it involves substitution. Number 8 of the green team becomes a player by entering the huddle and communicating with teammates. Once he becomes a player, he must stay in the game for 1 down. He may not withdraw. When number 8 returns to the sideline, his team is guilty of a dead ball foul for illegal substitution.
Let's talk about mechanics on that one.
Getting ready to play safe.
Let's talk about mechanics on that one. What?
Okay. You can't enter and leave. A cannot enter and leave. Period. That's a hard and fast rule. We can't let them do that. And that's an issue of getting unfair advantage. The other thing that they can't do is that when the ball is dead, they have to come inside the 9-yard marks for at least a period. Okay, that's a live ball foul, but.
All right, so from a mechanic standpoint, referees, he's lucky that he sees this. We're
Right.
counting 11, but I'm not knowing who's coming off that sideline.
That's where I was going.
So this is really a wing official call.
That's where I was
You
going.
gotta know if 8 came in,
Yeah.
8's got to stay. Here's the question though, can 8 leave?
One at a time.
Can 8 leave the game? He's the 11th player. Can 8 leave the game, go to the bench, and the coach says, "What are you doing? Get back in there." Can 8 come back in?
Yes.
Absolutely, because he wasn't replaced.
Right.
What if he's replaced? Once he's replaced, he cannot come back in. But this is a wing official call all day. The referee
Yeah.
chewed his chewing gum here and got it right by default. Okay?
This guy's still thinking about what's for to eat.
Yeah, he was sleeping. He should have taken that.
that was Dennis eating a hot dog.
When it makes you go to the state championship game,
The top of the numbers, he's committed to being there for
there's
1 down.
sketches on TV.
No, there's 4 or 5 criteria that make him a player. To assume
All right.
the position, to communicate with a teammate or official. There's a couple things that make
Right.
it become.
So not just crossing
But
the
just
numbers.
stepping in and going, okay, and going.
And you see in this video, if you look all the way through it, he runs out here and he talks to people. And that's what made them.
I just didn't know if there was anything less than that that still would have made it.
No, if they start to come out there, you know, they get a couple steps out there, the coach starts yelling, no, 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 and nobody on the field has started coming off, we won't let that go. Yes, Mr. Hudson?
Hold on. All you guys leaving, make sure you push your chairs underneath your desk.
Wish he hadn't talked.
Make sure you push your chairs, if you're leaving, make sure you push your chairs underneath your desk. Straighten that area up back there when you leave, please.
Great job, Jake.
Mr. Eckert has Rule 1 on Thursday.